SoulWhat, a Soultopia production. My name is Michelle Welch, and we have here with us our producer, Matt Stoker, and
I'm Roger Welch. So what's up today, Michelle?
Just flying in here and taking my seat, and I can't remember what we're talking about, or what show we're on, or what we're doing. Yeah, what's up with you?
Hi, this is the Phil Donahue Show. Welcome to our show today.
Phil Donahue, that's way back
school.
time machine.
That's like old school talk TV.
Yeah. So that's what's going on.
Although I did watch him.
I asked you to do the intro.
Wasn't
didn't
a
hear
freaking
me?
Ricky Lake though.
Huh?
He wasn't a Ricky Lake.
Is she still doing a show?
No, is she? Or Maury? Maury had the best show.
We're really aging ourselves. You are. See, I have no idea who that is.
They still run his shows. You can still find them out there.
Is that the? Oh no, that's Jerry Springer.
Oh yeah, Jerry Springer too. Actually, Jerry Springer had the best ones because they get in fights. They should. I saw a thing the other day that said they should bring it back and actually film it in Texas.
Where did they film it?
I don't remember. I think it was out in California.
Their
whole reason of filming
it, like in Louisiana or
their whole reason of
who
filming.
can I offend besides Texas? Mississippi.
Well, the whole reason for filming it in Texas is if you say, "Oh, you want to take it outside?" and they say, "Yeah, I do want to take it outside." Well, hey, it's all alone. It's legal. You can have a throwdown fight, and police can't do anything.
That's not true.
That's what the law actually the other day was saying.
That's not true.
It was a cop on TikTok. See the things you learn on TikTok?
Well, we get all our news now from TikTok.
Exactly.
Note
It's got
to
to
self, don't believe TikTok, except for unless we say it on TikTok. What's the latest thing you've said on TikTok? Your spray.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, my John the Conqueror oil.
Well, what's our topipic tonight?
Well,
Since we have no idea what we're doing,
no,
or
we
what
do
show
know what
we're
we're
doing, or anything.
I let Matt make it up. I said, just make something up, Matt. No, I'm joking. We are actually talking about items that you can use in your workplace, workspace, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of things, it's kind of would be tough. If you think about it, it would be tough to go into your workplace and say, ooh, it feels kind of grimy here. I'm going to sage everything. You pull out a big 10-inch stick of, sage, and you light it up in the workplace. Plus, your workplace probably not too happy with you lighting something up in the workplace. And then you're going around and you're going around the smoking everybody out. They probably wouldn't be too happy with that. Or if you had like the big amethyst cathedrals sitting on your desk, kind of.
I think if you decorated your room, your office properly, because I've gone to business offices where that's how they decorate. So if that's part
the
of your
office,
decoration,
but what about your desk?
Right. Yeah. So if you're working in a typical, I don't know what typical anymore is though. But let's say if you're working even in your home, in your little space that you have to work, let's say let's start with a typical kind of, not cubic or cubicle. Is that what they're called these days?
Cubics or cubicles?
Space.
Yeah, cubicle.
Your space, your little space, and
like what's that movie, Office Space?
And you don't want to do anything that's like invasive to other people's space, which would be smoke, probably smells, noises, things like that. How could you? And this is a question we do get in Soultopia. Mm-hmm. Could you take into your space if you wanted to have it be a clearer space? If you wanted to clear energetically, or if you wanted to clean up your space in the energetic sense. So what would you start with?
Well, kind of, as I said, you can't go in and sage out everybody, right? Especially if you work, because we have quite a few people that come in, and we see at different events too, that work in a business environment. We have the ladies from over that work for the city of Fort Worth. Mm-hmm. They come in, they're like, yeah, we would love to be able to sage all of our coworkers. They just get sent to HR for that one though.
Right.
And I grabbed, actually, this is the Florida water. We make Florida water is great for clearing space, but we also have the Dragon's Blood Sage, which comes in the red bottle. Florida water's in the blue bottle. So these are great alternatives to be able to clear space just straight up. So you can come in and just kind of give it a little spray around and let it kind of mist down. What's good about these? Florida water has a little bit of a citrusy smell.
I smell it.
You
It
know,
smells good.
and it doesn't take a whole lot of it to actually work around your space. You can just kind of give it a couple little quick sprays around. Nobody should be freaking out over it because it's, kind of more of like an air freshener smell almost. But it has that energy behind it that actually helps clear and move that energy out and around.
Another thing you could do is if people are coming and they're sitting at your desk a lot. Let's say you have your desk and you're having someone sit across from your desk. Let's say you have potential clients coming in. This would depend on whether you want to draw the person in, like you want a sale. So we're going to get a little more detailed in a second. So remind me.
Okay.
If you want to draw that person into you, or you kind of want to repel that person away from you. But let's just say a coworker. If coworkers were coming by all day and they're always just wanting to chit chat and you can't get your work done, you could even spray a little bit at the threshold. If you had your own office, you could, besides shutting the door, you could spray a little bit at the threshold and just set as your intention, just don't come in. But you could also, it smells really good, so it's going to attract people. That's not going to repel people. But this or the dragon's blood, you could actually just barely open like this. And some readers and mediums will use Florida water actually to attract spirits. We're not going to use it for that purpose necessarily, but you could just have it somewhere open, even hid away. Doesn't have to be at the front of your desk, just to kind of put a barrier between you and your client, just to keep an energetic, clean space. Another thing I do, can I see that selenite real fast? Now my clients will know this, but I have a big, thick wand. And it's not because, I don't like that client, or, I don't want their stuff and I'm judging them. It's just that I read a lot, so I don't know what I'm going to encounter. So a lot of times I will put a piece of selenite, just kind of this decorative piece, in between me and the person that, just kind of on the edge of my desk, and the person that I am talking to or reading for. And sometimes even as we're going, without even people noticing, I'll just sort of pick up that wand that I have, and sometimes I'll just, because I mess around with stuff, and I'll just place it there. Yeah. Because sometimes I just want sort of to intend to clear off, and this works like sage, selenite does. You can use it just like sage. We've said that a lot of times before, and you could do that too. And
we also, not only the selenite sticks, we also have these bowls, and the small bowls sitting here by you, Michelle. This is like a 4.5-inch bowl. That's like a 2.5-inch bowl. So, these are pretty decorative looking to be able to just set, and they're actually not too big to have setting on your desk. And even if you had that setting like the corner of your desk or anywhere, it helps with that same, kind of that force field of energy flowing across.
It's going to be pure, clean energy. It can make you a little tired if you keep like a big hunk like this. Over time would make me a little sleepy. That's enough to make me sleepy probably. I think these little bowls are so cute. And what you can also do is keep other little crystals. This is some citrine.
Yep.
It looked like it, but a little different. It's raw, actually.
Yeah, it's a raw chip.
And then there's an apophyllite I'm going to grab over here. And you could stick, there's a little lithium quartz. So you could have your abundance. You could have your amplifier, your apophyllite for maybe your ascension. And then your lithium quartz for like clearing out anything that was depressing in your environment. And you could have a little bowl sitting on your desk. It's not really... That's decorative. Nobody could really have a problem with that. Now, there might be some places that would have a problem with that because they're like, what are you putting on your desk? That's, crystals. You shouldn't have those. And I've actually known people, I'm not sure if that lithium quartz, that may be black tourmaline, tourmalated quartz, excuse me. But either way, that's going to clear out some things. But you could use that. But one of the things with these sticks that's really good is you can also pick that up and use it to clear yourself in between phone calls or people being in your office, or if somebody just griped at you on an email or something like that, you can clear it. You can clear your computer with it.
Just don't use it as a weapon.
Yeah,
Pow.
You can do that.
They gripe at you, smack them in the head.
But it's really, really, selenite to me would be a go-to to have at your office, in that type of a workspace. And I'm trying to think of like every type of workspace. I can't imagine it being harmful. I've taken it onto planes. If you were flying, if you work in any type of work you do, you could have a little piece of this with you, right?
Good.
And I brought one also that you could. I brought some too. I thought I brought a selenite in here with me. I guess I didn't. A selenite bracelet. I guess I opted to not bring one, but we have selenite bracelets that are purely made out of this selenite, that will keep your work field just pure and clean. And so bracelets are a great way to go, but we'll get to that in a second. But to start with, to keep the energy pure and clean around you, that to me, it's creating the barrier is really important of what you want to come in your office. Or those people always want to just come and talk, and then you never get anything done, or on the days you want to get something done and you can't.
Michelle.
No, like you want to hole up in your office and then you can't get anything done, and then or the days you want to talk, everybody else needs to get something done. You really all should be working, and you can go home early maybe, or get a lot more done, right?
Get out on time.
That's the spray is really good. This or the dragon's blood, and you can, like I said, just remember that you left it just a little bit open.
If you do take the lid off, my only thing about that is because people knocking it over, being on your desk and you're working and stuff like that. Just be really careful. Yeah, just remember if you leave it open versus that. But I will say now, if you're talking about like oils and stuff, we have the essential oils, the different ones. So we have the chakra oils, right? So this is a throat chakra oil. So if you worked with something like Matt, where you're talking a lot, this would be a really good one to diffuse where you're wanting to be heard and talk a lot, things like that. But this is citrus explosion. So something like this would be really great to diffuse in your workspace for like higher energy, excitement, things like that to create around. So essential oils is great to use into your workspace also, don't you think?
They are, because no matter what it is you're working, whatever area you're working in, you can find an oil that will correspond to that area. The only way you'd want to be careful with those are, you could diffuse it, but of course you would then want to be careful about the smells. You want to be careful in your house around animals, especially cats, and then you want to be careful about, and be not even careful. It's not so much the word as considerate of other people's senses about smell. I'll say that's the thing about incense, is there's some people that the smoke of the incense, it's not really so much the scent, but the smoke bothers them. And we have people that even are readers or work at our store that even I'll be in my office reading, and the door will be very cracked open, and one of the readers' rooms will be being used, and they'll come and shut my door, and I'm like, I wanted it cracked open a little bit, and they'll be like, well, we need it closed because one of the readers is very sensitive to my incense. And I understand that. So that's when you could diffuse a little bit of oil if you're allowed to do that in your space. But if not, you can just put a little bit on your pressure points. And you can always put a little bit on your heels if it's something where people really get picky. Because some people can get really, really picky about smells, and they will really not like you if you're wearing a scent that they don't care for, right?
That's right.
So the thing about talking about stuff in your workplace is that workplaces are so varied. So the other thing, what else could you set, or would it be set or sit? Sit on your desk. What would you set on your desk? Yeah, I'll use the word place. What would you place on your desk to help you while you're working?
Well, we have the shungite.
Okay, that would be my next thing. I think this is like a must-have.
So you can get shungite bracelets, as we were talking a second ago, but we do have the little plates that go like on your electronics, like your phone or your laptop even, these little electronic pieces. But even to sit on your desk, you could have like the pyramids here. This is it's a structured pyramid. And so those are really cool to have just because it's kind of decorative. Or even, we have little animals like the little frog.
Which is like good luck.
Yeah.
And,
So you have the symbolism for good luck and everything, but then you also have the shungite that helps block out the EMFs. It also, for your own energy, will help keep you grounded but not overly grounded like some of the other crystals.
So let's talk about the shungite a little bit. And this is this black tourmaline?
That's black tourmaline.
Okay. So these also come in shungite, these little plates. Shungite now, we started carrying it, or I started using it, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago, for me being either too overwhelmed, or I would be I would shut down because I was so overwhelmed at shows. And so, and this is one of the shungite bracelets that we have. It's called an empath necessity, and that's what I named it. It detoxifies, it purifies, it neutralizes EMFs, and it protects. You can put shungite, it purifies water, and you can put it straight in your water. You can put it on the back of your phone case. I don't know if we have any. Yeah, you brought one.
Here.
But you could also put it on your computers, on the back of his computer, this little laptop thing or pad, whatever you call that.
iPads.
But I would place it for sure. A lot of people will use black tourmaline for that because they don't know about shungite. Shungite, to me, by far, that will ground. Black tourmaline will ground your stuff, but it won't get rid of the EMFs like shungite will. So if you're choosing and you don't know about shungite, use shungite. And you can put that on the back of your phone. You can take your phone case off and stick one on. There's now starting to come out with selenite. Do we have them in?
We actually have them in the Frisco store.
Okay, so we have them. If I had to choose, I would get the shungite. I would probably want both on my phone, on the back of my phone, but and put the case over it. But if I had to choose, and was just going to get one, I would get the black one, which is the shungite, because of the EMFs. Because I'm no expert on EMFs, and the 5G, but the 5G goes like straight through you, and it wards it off. And all I can tell, the biggest thing I can tell you is because it was found in Russia. Have y'all watched that Chernobyl movie? And I've said this so many times. Have y'all seen that documentary or that mini-series? Well, it's pretty sad, really depressing, and cover-ups the way they happen. And I don't think that just happens in Russia, to be honest with you.
But you can take tours there now?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's another show you can watch, is like the most dangerous tours and most daring vacations. Tours. And it's crazy. But watching that, they pretty quickly after that, and I'm not saying this will keep you from getting cancer, I'm not saying this at all, but they did use shungite a lot after Chernobyl to try to clean up the water, because it's been used since Peter the Great, and it's got something called fullerenes in it. We won't go into it, but if you want to get one of our books on shungite, it is one of it's carbon that has been proven, and I say it almost every time we talk about it because it's worth you guys looking it up to know that, especially those of you who are skeptical about using crystals and stuff like that and think, oh, that's just a bunch of malarkey and it won't work. Shungite is one that will on many things. So it will emotionally, but it really will for purification and detox. So I would always have shungite's one. If I said you could get one, if you could have one crystal stone, whatever, like I said, it's a carbon. So it's amorphous in structure. It's not really a crystal, technically, but it would be the one I would get. It's very hard for me to choose. And so they're everywhere. They carve them, but it's not that they're now everywhere. They've been around forever. But they're now getting into more stores like ours, because people are realizing the benefits.
Exactly.
And so you could set that on that little frog at work, or pretty much any, at a government job, or I'm trying to think of other types of jobs. I mean, where you have a very, very little space, or you could put one of these little things even on your computer
and it's got a little sticky, and they will come
This is
off
a little
eventually.
tile. It's like probably about 1/8 of an inch thick. It's 5/8 wide and about an inch tall. And you can
They come in
actually stick it
circles
on
too,
anything. Yep.
and and you can take
About
those
the size
off.
of a quarter.
A lady one time wanted one to put all over her whole computer. And I told her, you really don't have to have that. I mean, would it help more? Probably. I mean, I had a big shungite sphere that I sold. It was probably that big, right?
Size of a bowling ball.
Isn't that the size of a bowling ball?
No. That's a big ass bowling ball.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. Especially for me, because I used the little baby ones probably, or
You got
weight
you have the
wise.
6-pounders.
Yeah. So
You're showing us a 30-pounder.
No, I don't use that. So they really are helpful. So that when we're talking about it, the workplace, you really have to first probably think, if we were to give you a list, number one, think about what is it I'm trying to accomplish. Number one, what am I trying to accomplish with my workplace? Is it what's going on that is the most important thing to me? Is it clearing negativity of people, or am I around a lot of equipment that might eventually, if I was in the medical field and I was around a lot, I've had a bunch of these tests done lately, and I got to think, the people being around those CT scans, I don't care how much they think, they're not around it. You're around all that stuff. I would be having shungite. Somebody asked me the other day, are you wearing your shungite every time they're giving you those CT scans? I was like, well, I almost always have it on, but here I am, I teach about it, and who knows? I feel so bad, I'm not sure that I do. So I would say in any type of job, you want that for either shungite or selenite.
Yeah.
One or the other, if not both, okay? Then you might start thinking about, the people, which both of these would work for too. Primarily your selenite. This would be more about you and managing your energy, that like I talk about in my book, instead of worrying about other people. But you could clear your energy with this too. And then the next thing I would be thinking about is potentially, did we talk about everything about clearing? Is there anything else you had to show on that?
I don't think so.
I mean, because you can't light candles. I did when at the law firm I was with, because, I mean, we didn't own the building, but we leased the building, but it was mine to lease, and I did light a candle.
Well, you got to be careful with that, but just because in so many areas it's different rules for different places, because where that was, if the fire marshal had come in and had seen an open flame or anything like an incense burning or anything, they basically could have locked down the building.
Yeah, I mean, I shouldn't have done it.
So you got to be real careful with that, in some areas.
So incense, and you're going to set off the smoke detectors even with some incense. I mean, especially Rogers will burn forever. It's awesome. So the crystals will be good. The sage spray is a great replacement for that. If you're in the car a lot, if you're in sales, remember Roger, half his day used to be in cars.
Yep.
Okay, and walking into other people's houses. So if he's in the car, he'd want the spray or some stones, and then he'd want on a necklace or a bracelet for walking into the houses, right?
Yep.
So the next thing that you want to probably think about would be, I would think, you're going to work for what? Why do you go to work?
Make money.
You make money. So I would want some things for prosperity and abundance around me.
So I know we can't burn candles per se, but these candles here are abundance candles. You could actually just have these and have it setting on your desk, because it says abundance right on the candle. They look nice. They don't have that witchy vibe to them really, even though a lot of our witchy clients actually use them, but it's not like in a workplace people would think, oh, what's going on over there? People would just, oh, abundance candle, that's kind of cool. I like that. So that would be one thing.
Yeah, you could. And you could have crystals, like I said, your citrine. This?
That's citrine, and then I have some raw point citrines over here.
Yeah.
So stuff like this would actually turns out really nice. Or the big one right there, the chip that you had over there.
It's the chip in the little selenite bowl. And the thing with citrine is it'll also make you feel good. It works with your solar plexus, which is right here. It's like your gut. It's right underneath your ribs. So it is to make you have confidence. So if there's something you are wanting to say to a client, or there's something you want to say to your boss, or there's something you need to say to people who work for you, or what if you're tasked with, writing people up or telling people they're not doing their job, or whatever it is, then you would, it would help with that too. It would give you that vitality, that worthiness about yourself, the confidence that you need to do that. But it also is known as the merchant stone to bring in money, especially would be really good for if you're in sales, or if you need to sell. For instance, you might not feel like you're in sales. You might feel like you're in the business of, putting together podcast or something, but then yet you want to get more business or something. That would be, or I'm in the business of reading, but maybe I'm wanting to draw in more clients. That would be something I would want, right? I'd want to do a good job with my readings, but maybe that person, I would want to tell other people what a good job I do, right? So it could serve both purposes.
Yeah.
So having those things around, so that's one is, knowing that you have a clear space, and you could do those with things that aren't flammable. And two, you go to work primarily, unless you just love work, you primarily go to work to provide an income for you or your family.
So here's another one that we can use for money. This is the John the Conqueror oil.
Mm-hmm.
So great for prosperity, abundance, things like that. But this is, even you can just take this and just drop on your hands and just rub your hands together.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're writing contracts or working with money or bringing, even using the phone, if you think about it, that phone is that tool of bringing money in. So you could easily just put a couple of, like a drop on your hands, rub it in,
and that's going to magnify the intention, of anything you use. Mm-hmm. Is John the Conqueror, High John the Conqueror, is with that. And plus, let me just tell you guys, that stuff right there smells so good because he made it. It smells amazing. So nobody's going to be bothered by that there.
Not at all. And it's not something you actually would have to set out on your desk anyway.
No.
It's something you can kind of keep back. They're not going to see it ever, when people come into your workspace.
And a couple of guys kind of tested that, and they all like the smell of it. So it's not, most of our stuff has the smells that kind of guys and girls, or kind of neutral, that everybody likes the smells. Mm-hmm. It's not
This one has a little bit of a cinnamon clove smell to it.
Yeah.
But it does have like roses down in it, and
it smells like Christmas a little bit to me.
A little bit, yeah. But I do have roses and
it's maybe because of the clove and cinnamon.
And cloves and all in there. So
yeah, it smells really good. Yeah. So that's two things. Yep. Is you want your space, and when I'm talking about space, it also is important to have, it's usually not all that, you see what you see, but even here, this is cluttered to me. Like, this is cluttery space to me. So for some of us, there's a lot of stuff here.
Yeah.
But so we're talking about space, our things being cluttered. Mm-hmm. And then also, when you have clutter, it can also get energetic clutter to it. So then you might want to, even if you need all those things out and you have a pile of paper and you're like, do not touch those books, don't remove one piece of paper from there. There was a lawyer that used to work down at our firm down in, I guess it was Preston Hollow, kind of Highland Park area. It's actually George Bush's office now, or it was for a while, George W.'s. Mm-hmm. And that area in his office, if you touched one sheet of paper, even though his office looked like a bomb went off in it, he would know you touched that piece of paper, because he knew that it was, organized chaos. But for me, I couldn't stand it. And even when Ashley, our office manager, goes in my office, she can't stand it, because it's, I'm running in, I'm running out, I'm putting makeup on, I'm throwing my cards around. We don't have everywhere to put my cards. So my point being, clutter can cause chaos. So when you have a bunch of stuff, you may love all that stuff, but you want to then clear it with some spray or clear your space. Even if you love collecting a whole bunch of curios and things that you love, you may love collectibles, but you want to clear all that stuff off in your office too. Even if nobody can touch a thing and it has to stay just so, and you're working on a big project.
Exactly.
It's real important.
Don't touch my stuff.
You don't touch Roger's stuff for sure. So that's two things. You know, your money, your space, your money. We've kind of touched on your emotions, but I thought that that's a big thing about workspaces.
Yeah, you know, if you think about it, a lot of times is emotions, positivity, things like that. What do you have?
Well, for me, I just threw on a couple of bracelets today just to show you that, because I have on a pyrite ring. I wanted to show you that. Also, pyrite is great for bringing in prosperity and abundance, okay? So let me just give you all go back one step. A little formula, if you want to write it down, for prosperity and abundance is citrine, and I'm talking money, if that's what you're wanting, drawing in money, is citrine, green aventurine, a tiger's eye, a little peridot, if you can find one. If you can't, you can leave that out, and a little piece of pyrite. They do not have to be big, and you put them in a little bag, a little gold or green bag, because gold is money too. So gold or green, and then you write a little thing like, I am prosperous, I am abundant, and then you fold it 3 times or 5 times towards you. And then I thought you had our little money things there. We got these little gold money things.
Oh, I forgot to bring them over.
And they're little $100 bills, and we sell them. And I know that sounds kind of funny, but they're foil, and they're kind of thick. And we sell them for, $3?
$3.
And you just keep them with you at all the time, in your wallet or wherever. Just all the time, keep them with you. But you could even, I wouldn't roll that up in your mojo bag, but you would keep it with it, or your, whatever you want to call it, your little abundance bag. And you could even put a little cinnamon for if you want things to go really fast, or other things for, making money or get a job fast, whatever it is you want to bring that money in. And so, but those things, pyrite, green aventurine, and citrine. And if you only wanted to get 2, I would do, and tiger's eye, I would do citrine. Well, I do 3: citrine, pyrite, and green aventurine. You could add malachite, but just think green and gold, yellow gold, okay, for your little money bag and to trap abundance. And then put a positive affirmation with it. And here's what I would do, because when people told me to first start doing that, I didn't put down, I want to win the biggest jackpot and be a gazillionaire. Not that couldn't happen, but what I did instead is I said, I want to see that this works, because if I believe it will work for me, then I'll do it more often. So I want attainable, something that I can see like in a week that it will work. So I wanted to write down, something that I felt, I am prosperous and abundant, and by this time I will have this, or I will achieve this. And then I would pull that little thing out in 2 weeks and see if that had happened or not. And if not, it's kind of like doing a grid with crystals. And for me, I want to see progress, or I'm going to give up on it. And the thing with that is, you're talking about the law of attraction. And with any products you use here, if you don't put action into the law of attraction, because it's within the word, that's why the secret, we've talked about this before, and it's, I talked a lot about it when I talk about my book. If you don't put that part into that book, The Secret, that came out a long time ago, it was a movie first, then it was like 4 books, they won't work. And that's why people started saying this is a big joke and I don't believe in it. It does work, but you have to put the other things that go along with it. You know, like do unto others as you'd have them do unto you, and all the other laws of the universe, karma, and all that goes with it.
Yeah.
That little thing will work.
Yeah.
You can also wear that. I don't have it as the Abundantia bracelet. It has all those crystals on it, and that sells out really fast here because if anybody comes in and says, I want to, you know, manifest abundance, that's the one thing, and I don't want them to spend. If they're struggling, I don't want them to spend all their money on everything in the store. That one bracelet is going to be probably really good for them to wear.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I got onto that by saying whatever you do, if you're wearing bracelets and you asked, what do you have? I just grabbed bracelets to show y'all that you could grab different bracelets for different things. It was dark out there, and I
grabbed those three. You grabbed those over there.
I thought this one, I was grabbing the lepidolite, because lepidolite's for, it has lithium in it, and so it's for kind of anxiety and depression. But this is actually a Super 7 bracelet. So it has 7 essential stones in it. It has amethyst and a lot of other, and so we just put Super Ascension on it. But I will say the one that is, that has lepidolite and it's purple, it was just dark and I grabbed the wrong one. That one I sent to my son, and boyfriend. They live in New York. I sent it to them, and I think they both were doubles of those all the time, just so they don't have that anxiety. But you can also, but we're always making new bracelets because it's the easiest way to put that, whatever your intention is, on. Let's see, this one is Moses, and this is one of my favorite bracelets because I don't know if we can get, I think it's really pretty and it's really heavy. It's got apatite, and I believe it's apatite and hematite, and I'm not sure what's in the, and black onyx in the middle. Apatite is that beautiful blue. It almost looks green. So it's a real substantial bracelet. I think this one is a really good one for guys, actually, because it looks like that John Hardy look that they used to sell at Neiman's. He's kind of like David Yurman, that designer. But Moses, from the Judaic tradition or Christian tradition, was a prophet and teacher, and he was chosen to lead the people out of Egypt. But it was kind of like, well, why me? And it said that he might have even stuttered or had something that was like an impediment. He didn't want to be the one to do it. So I thought he was a great one for like breaking cycles, standing firm, prophesying, saying things that, and also leading when you're called, even though you don't think you're the one to do the job. You think, why me? That this is a great bracelet. So I just wanted to show y'all that we do have some new bracelets. Also, this one is really pretty. And I thought, Lakshmi, and it's for prosperity. It's got that citrine, love. It's got the rose gold and power. And so all together on one, which would be great to wear to work, because it doesn't have to be love like I'm trying to find love at work. Right. It could be to feel valued in that way at work. Okay? So, and this one is just soul love. I just happened to grab it. It's rose quartz all the way around. That would be for self-love at work, just to remind you that you're valued. And then this is it does have some protection. Anything with black is going to be grounding and is going to be protecting. This is, I say, Hecate. People are going to make fun of me because that's not how you, but it's Hecate. She's the triple goddess of the crossroads and magic, and she's in my book. She helps you choose a path, and she's a torchbearer for the darkest of places and times. So when you're struggling and you don't know what you're going to do, she's going to help you, okay? And it's got beautiful, beautiful labradorite. And no, it's actually larvicite, and that's such a pretty larvicite that it looks like it's a labradorite because there's a lot of blue in it. And peach moonstone, regular moonstone, and black obsidian. So we have all kinds of bracelets. That's the easiest way, and guys wear these too all the time.
That's cool.
So easy to wear to work, and to wear if you're driving, if you're flying, whatever you do for work.
Right.
The only way I might not is if you're
doctor.
Yeah, something like that. And you take it off right before, right? So, And then here's
But you could put it in your pocket at that point.
whatever, yeah. And somebody was having, I need to remind her tonight, she's having surgery tomorrow, and I would always take her shungite or smoky quartz. And if they don't let you wear it into the surgeons, I would give it to a nurse and have them put it in their pocket. I would always have them do that, because when you go, this is an aside, when you go under, when they put you under for surgery, that is a time, I don't want to freak anybody out, but because you're under, that's a time when entities can get in your subconscious and stuff, okay? They can wreak havoc with you. You may wake up being like, and a week later be depressed. Doesn't mean you're possessed. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying you're very open and susceptible to junk coming in. Did that blank? To junk coming in during that time. And you always want to have, I would grid the room if they'd let me. If I was going to have a major surgery and I knew I was going to have it. And I would have each nurse, and I would make sure I had some stones for protection. And that would be like shungite or obsidian even, for some strong protection. Not that you're going to pass away. That's not what I'm worried about. Unless you're concerned about it. What I'd be worried about is when I wake up, I want to know what's attached to me that I let into my psyche while I was under.
Makes sense.
Have you ever heard of that?
Yep, I have.
Had you before we talked about it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I had.
So I don't know if that's new to people, so I don't want to freak people out, but you do need to take care of yourself energetically before you get put under. I'd say even before you put a lot of even dental work, when you're while you're almost under, even that twilight almost under, I would do it then too. Okay, so that's you're not at work, but you're having something done. So I wanted to mention that.
Cool.
Okay.
So we're talking about emotions, positivity type things, right? So one thing at work, you probably couldn't take these card decks to work without getting a kind of a side look, probably.
Depends on
on where you work, right? But like tarot cards or even like witchy style cards. But one thing you could do is like these card deck is to creativity from Amy Zerner and Monty Farber, friends of ours. You could take these types of cards because they're oracle cards. One, they're really pretty. Like on one side, there's got a lot of artwork, different artwork all the way through. You could take these and put them in a bowl, right? And then each morning you could take and pull a card.
I thought you did that.
And pull a card, right? And read what it says. Like this one here, it says preparation. Luck comes most often to the person in the place where preparation, opportunity, and skill meet. If you think about it, and I tell people this a lot in readings, is that, like easiest way to change is change this a little bit. And if you put affirmations in the morning when you wake up, like even on your mirror, and you get up in the morning and read that, you kind of carry that with you through the day. Well, if you did kind of the same thing with a deck like this, where all the cards say something different, details, examine your situation and take care of every detail one step at a time.
And I think that's a great idea, Roger. And I think that deck would be perfect for it. We have other decks, but that one would be perfect because of knowing them. They're not going to put anything in there that wouldn't be acceptable in most offices or most places. So you could even have somebody else, if they walked by and wanted to draw a card, if they asked, hey, what is that? Or a client, they could draw one. Yeah. And they would, first of all, Amy's clothes are sold at Bergdorf Goodman.
And you can definitely tell her design on the backs, her artwork designs, like the tapestries and everything right here on the back of everything.
Yeah, and her tapestries, all of her jewelry, everything, which I usually have on a piece of it, they're all on there. So that's a really, really good idea.
Can we pull you one, Matt, for tomorrow? I'll pull you one for tomorrow.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's see what we come up with for you tomorrow. Since you got to go to Fort Worth. Actualization. You will achieve your full potential by virtue of your creativity and your honest pursuit of truth.
Oh, well, that sounds pretty good.
See there?
Yeah, I'll take that.
I'm telling you, this is a great way, and it's a great way to start your day too, because it puts you in a positive mindset So you might have had some jerk cut you off on the way to work. By the time you get to work, kind of clear that energy with some other stuff here.
Well, read it again. Did you lose it?
No, that one?
Okay, so you could break it down too. I'm not going to make Matt say, but
Make him repeat
I know
it
him
10
to be
times.
honest. But like if it says honest pursuit of truth, that could be, is he pursuing,
Stop covering up.
no, but is somebody pursuing are they being honest to themselves? Are they really pursuing their truth? So you really don't just read it and blow past it. You really, or you could go, oh, that sounds really nice. Or you could look at it and go, and usually the person who gets it might go, that one part rings true to me. I don't know what part would to you, but one part, so read it again.
Actualization. You will achieve your full potential by virtue of your creativity and your honest pursuit of truth.
Right, so there's some huge stuff in there. Full potential.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep, full potential.
Creativity. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah. So, you want to read it, but then you really want to, if you're reading it for yourself, you want to break it down and then even look at the picture on the front and see, maybe what pops out at you as the person using it yourself. If you don't have, because you're reading it for yourself.
That's a lady with a baby and 2 swans.
This is one of her. Yeah, this is beautiful.
I think there's one of the tapestries, isn't it?
But y'all get what I'm saying. And then you can always also look at the number, and the number 64, Matt. So you could take 64, and maybe that doesn't mean anything, but maybe 6 and 4, 10, you never know. Might be a sign for something for tomorrow. So that's a good idea, Roger. I like it. And these are not anything that anybody would be like you said, whoa, what's at your desk? Why? And some places are cool with what you have at your desk, and some places are not cool with what you have. And these would be.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cool deck to be able to do something like that with. And I mean, they're, very decorative on both sides,
They're beautiful cards. I mean, they're
gold, gold leaf edged. And then you have explanations of everything, positive around it.
Yeah.
So I think that would be a great way to start your day, though, to be pulling one of those cards and actually get yourself in that positive mindset also.
Right. I like that idea a lot. And it sounds, because I have a bunch of cards, but do we always, really use them? And then do we really break it down? To me, the most important thing would be to break it down and go, okay, what's this message really saying for me today? And maybe even carry the card with you or write it down, put it up on your visor or something like that. So as far as if you are in your car and you're driving a lot for work, I would always grid your car. I'd do that anyway. I would grid each of the underneath the, if you have 4, what are those things called?
Car mats.
Car mats. I would put a crystal under each car mat, at least one for safety. Again, you could probably use smoky quartz. You can use for travel. There's a bunch of different ones for travel. You can
Yellow
use.
jasper.
Pardon me?
Yellow jasper.
Yellow jasper. You could use. There's just all kinds for. We could give you ideas. I'll go ahead and give you an idea. I would use probably. I think when my car got sold,
It had yellow jasper.
it had
the
yellow
back
jasper.
doors.
Yeah. And it's.
I would not put it anywhere where their airbags are, because then it'd be like a landmine going off if you did have an accident.
That's a good point. Don't do that.
You have them glued to the steering wheel on top of the airbag. And
Yeah, don't do that.
That wouldn't be good.
That would not be good. Okay, so, but must-haves, in my opinion, are, well, there's no must, but is your shungite, because almost everybody has now the electronics, right?
Yep.
And then the selenite, any kind of sprays that you can use. And I love the cards, oils, the bracelets. We found more and more people, we can't keep up with making our bracelets.
There were 6 people back there making bracelets today.
Yeah, so it's gotten out, which is a wonderful, as my son Tyler said, champagne problems. That's because we're like, we're out of bracelets. But this is a really good way, and I will grid all the way up and down my arm. We make them for if it's during Mercury retrograde. And it's always interesting, if I just happen to grab them, people will go how do you choose? Sometimes I do, and sometimes I'm just in a hurry, or sometimes I want to match. Rarely do I match. this one the turquoise one happens to be for Archangel Sandalphon, and that one is for music. And for me, I can tell you that music is one of my best ways. If I will listen to music on my way to the store, which is work for me, or on my way home, just a little 3 minutes I drive now. Seriously though, I not say I've got to get this all working, and it takes me a whole half the way.
Time she gets it going, we're already here.
I don't have a shungite to make it work right, because me, I'm in electronics, but music actually is a lot of the ways I receive messages. So, and have messages to give to other people, because I'll hear a song, and then sure enough, the first person I read for, I'll say, oh, I heard this song. They'll be, you're never going to believe that was my dad's favorite song, or such and such. So, because I listen to old music, so a lot of times it is their granddad's favorite song. So, but Sandalphon's very connected to me because of that. Talk about the black tourmaline.
So, all right, I brought this piece of black tourmaline. This actually is black tourmaline with mica on it. You can kind of see that mica spark, right? Mm-hmm. If you had this on your desk, it's a little rough. I mean, if you were to hit it, something like that. That's why I brought those plates out there. Show that. This looks kind of like a coaster, so you could easily set this on your desk. Doesn't take up a lot of room. You could set it on your desk. You could set other things even on top of it. You could set your cell phone on top of it. But black tourmaline
on top of it.
Your cell phone.
You could set yourself on top of it.
Oh Lord. Can we, mute her mic? Can we? But you can set your cell phone on top. Anything else on there? But it's, it's a very good grounding stone and protecting stone. So it would help you with that kind of keeping you focused in on your work, kind of keeping you grounded for the day.
Right. And that we would always say, it absorbs energy, it clears energy, and it transmutes negativity, which is, y'all have heard me say, if you listen at all, that's where I got a lot of the idea for the book, is we all absorb. We need to shield and protect, but we can also learn to transmute that energy.
As long as you're sitting on it.
As long as you're what?
Sitting on it.
As long as you're sitting on it. Here's another piece.
I wonder if you could make a belt buckle out of it.
This is my piece, and it's always in here. Yeah.
We also have some really cool towers that we just got in. I didn't bring any of those. They look kind of like this, except black tourmaline. So, and they have some of them have little red jasper striations in them.
So, if there's anything else you can think of, we have anything you could use for work.
I mean,
but I'm thinking primarily you just can keep it simple. I wouldn't take a whole bunch of stuff into work.
Right.
I wouldn't be going in with your, you can wear it, you can put it in your pocket, you can spray a little stuff around, you can have a card to pull.
I think even if you had even small, free forms like this, little amethyst or little quartz points like this would be fine on somebody's desk. If you had something big like this big crystal ball back here, might be a little over the top.
Depends on how big your office is.
Definitely. I mean, it would be cool if you had like a set of bookcases in behind you and you had it setting back on the bookcase. But if you just had just a desk and a cubicle, it'd be a little tougher, right?
Right.
So you might use like a little, slide myself off the table, like a little amethyst like that, or even like a little point like this. So it just kind of decorates. It looks like a decoration kind of, but it also has that energy. And with the amethyst or those, it helps with the energy movement. It helps with generating more energy, things like that, just depending on what you're using, right?
You made me think of a question. One person asked me if one of the big questions is, can the stones kind of counteract one another? It depends on your intention. I used to say absolutely not, because, but then because that's what I read. I would read, well, no. But then the more you think about it, if you think stones really do have, or crystals really do have certain, it comes down to this. It comes down to the minerals that they have in them and how well they work together with the other minerals. Okay, so if one, and the vibration of that other mineral, one may overcome another one. Okay, just like, heat, just like the elements. If it's an element of heat and water, or air, or fire, one element may combine well with another element, whereas another, and make it stronger, whereas another element may kind of drown out another element. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Also, because if you pick up that black tourmaline, you can see within that black tourmaline, there's not just black tourmaline there. There's other things. If I move my hand, you can see that. There's other, and if you move it around, you can see there's other things within that. Okay, it's not just dirt. There's probably some hematite if you see on the end. And so
A lot of mica in it for sure.
a lot of mica, and a lot of times there will be a little bit of hematite around it. So you've kind of got to can they counteract each other? No, it's how they're going to kind of work together, and I don't think one's going to make another do something bad, is what I'm trying to say. But it could enhance another one. Clear quartz is going to enhance anything that's around it, or help clarify anything that's around it.
Well, if you think about it, if clear quartz can amplify a rose quartz, which both are quartz, but it can amplify the energy. There's something else out there kind of deflects the energy. Deflates it. Yeah.
And so, and because rose quartz is a quartz, like you said, this clear quartz is pretty strong. This little one right here, I can feel it because it has a lot of rainbows and things in it. It's pretty strong quartz, but that rose quartz is a little softer and gentler. It's a little slower acting. So it would just sort of calm down some of these others, because we've got some obsidian out here, right?
It's over there by you, the sphere, and
this obsidian
here.
That's really, really strong.
Yep.
So that's something that you might want to consider. I get that question all the time. And I used to say, oh, no, it doesn't matter. You can just put all your crystals together. You can get a little bit of crystal chaos if you're not new to it.
Well,
I mean, if you are new to it.
If you remember, when we started out and we were making all the bracelets in the bedroom, we had all those different crystals in the bedroom. It was always chaotic in there.
It's always chaotic in our house anyway.
Well, that's true.
A little bit. Yeah, there's a little bit of, because I'm there, right? So spray me with the stuff. Yeah.
Michelle, Loki, and Thor.
Yeah. So how much time do we have?
We're done.
We're done?
Yeah.
It's time's up?
Yep.
So no cards, pull card from there?
We can pull a card.
Okay. I can't believe we taught that long. Wow.
You can't believe you taught that long?
I
Seriously.
I can, but not about
Can
that.
y'all chime in on
like,
this?
oh
And
my
can y'all
gosh.
chime in on this? And
Because I wanted to show
if
one
you
more
can believe
thing.
Michelle actually.
These little pocket of peers, these little bitty cards, if you were going to take something and you just wanted to pull something out at work because you don't want people to know, because you don't want them to see, that you're using cards or whatever.
Well,
These would be good to have. And they're starting to make a lot of these small little decks that you can carry with you. And they're also just real discreet if you're like at a restaurant or you're waiting in a lobby or something, like I was all night on Thursday night before my birthday. You can just pull out the cards and use them. This, not so much you would need to have this like in a little pouch or something, because carrying this whole thing is kind of not discreet at all. And, of course, a book, like The Magic of Connection. Okay, so give me a card for me to read. So number ones will be
Here.
Roger, and number twos will be me, and then we'll close.
So I'm number ones and you're number twos.
Yeah, and I
Not
hope that
shocked at
y'all
all.
got something out of that, because, it's important what you have at your office, too. And don't forget your cars, because you're in it. Usually, at least we used to be in them a lot. Now we're not in them as much as we used to be. Getting back to that.
Yeah.
All right.
So-
all the number ones for this
So number
week.
ones, okay. So the card says seed, having the intention to grow like a seed and bloom is at the heart of creativity. Okay, but what I get from this is, if you think about seeds, is actually you're usually planting seeds. So this week is actually not very active for you as far as like overexciting or anything, but you're laying the groundwork of things to come for the rest of the month. So you're just now starting to kind of lay that groundwork of things to get out, to get excited about, and to actually enjoy for the rest of towards the end of the month.
Okay.
Okay.
And for me, I would like you to, people number 2, I would like you to think of a question really fast. Okay, so if you don't think you have one, then it's the thing weighing on you the most in your life right now. That's your question. What's going to happen with this? Okay? And then this is going to be your answer or how to proceed with it for this week and how to not let it overcome you this week, okay? And it's card number 17, and it's called Flash. A creative flash of inspiration will come to you and quickly give you the perfect solution. Now, that doesn't mean it'll solve everything necessarily. It may, but it'll, like I said, I wanted you to have it for this week to get you to your next step, or it will solve the whole thing, okay? So whatever that question was, a creative flash of inspiration will come to you and quickly give you the perfect solution. Number 17. So it's going to be that boom, aha moment. I can't believe I haven't thought of that. And don't dismiss it when it comes to you. And this is the picture. I wanted to show her beautiful artwork. That's from all of her beautiful tapestries and artwork that she does. That's Amy Zerner when I say that. And that's from their Creativity Oracle deck.
Yep.
And so that's the number 2s. And I had my question. I hope y'all did too, because I have one that's weighing very heavily on me. And so I don't have the answer yet. So I'm going to wait for my flash that's going to come, and I'm going to trust that it will. Okay? So that's it for this week. One more thing. If you can't, sorry, Matt, if you can't, like if you're like, okay, they're showing me all this stuff, and right now my problem is I need a job. And I don't have a workspace, and I need a workspace. My biggest thing to you is I would set an intention and be very clear with what you want, or like I'm working at home and I don't really want to be working at home, whatever that is, so I don't need any of that stuff. It's not about coming and getting all this stuff, you guys. That's not why we did it. It's just that we do get that question a lot. What would you take to work? That's why we did this subject, because we get the question. But if you don't, then it's not that you need to having all this stuff is going to solve the situation. But setting an intention very clearly and really, really writing out what you want that to look like in a positive affirmation. I used to think that was a bunch of bunk and it didn't work, but it really, really will work if you'll be clear with God or the universe with what you want. I believe that it will come to you. Maybe not always in the form you want, but being very clear with what you want, because sometimes we don't even know. So start trying to hone in on what that is, what you want that to look like, what you really want your life and your job to look like. When I didn't know what I really wanted to do with my life, that was harder for me to find a place to be happy with what I wanted. Okay, so some of this stuff wouldn't have ever helped me at all, right? I'd just have a bunch of junk and I wouldn't know what to do with it. Okay, so for those of you who are thinking that, please know I've been there before too, and a lot of it was just not being able to set a clear intention for myself, and that was really just not knowing myself that well. Okay, so for those of you in that situation, just take some time to really think, what do you want? And it's okay to want things for yourself and want a certain kind of life. And I think this is a perfect time in life, even though things are sometimes hard right now, to kind of reevaluate that, right?
Makes sense.
So other than that, I think that we have had a good show and have given you some good ideas that I hope you guys can use. And come back and join us next week. And we will start having guests back on. It kind of seems to come in waves. And this week we have a lot of things. And we do have, I believe, the Psychic Fair this week.
That was last week.
I can't hear you.
That was last week.
That was last week. I'm way behind. Okay.
This week we have the Plano Holistic Festival of Life.
We have the Plano Holistic Festival of Life.
That is Saturday, 10 to 6.
And I speak at 1 o'clock. And there will be giveaways. I have some little prizes and then some giveaways too. And then if you come to my speech, you get a little discount when you go back to our booth.
What?
Yeah, I want people to come to my speech because it's going to be really good. So anyway, thanks for listening to SoulWhat, where we discuss things that are important to our soul, and you get to discern and decide and mull over what's important to yours. Good night.
Good night, guys.